Hi all, welcome to my YouTube channel, JF Focus Technologies. So in the previous class, we have discussed a little bit about introduction of Java, right? So in today's session, we'll try to learn some of the important features of Java, or we'll try to understand why Java is very famous when compared to other programming languages. So let's get started. Let me share my screen, guys. So let's understand what are the important features of Java. So there are so many features of Java. So out of them, we'll try to cover some of the basic features of Java. Okay. So whenever we say features of Java, so the first and the foremost feature we say simple. So let us try to understand what is meant by simple. So let's go. Let me just simply say features of Java. So the first and the foremost feature, they say simple, and they have given three reasons why Java it is simple. So the first reason they simply say Java is simple. Then they say they remove. Second reason they simply say they have removed many confusing topics from Java, like pointers, operator overloading, etc. And then the third reason they say they introduce a new feature, something called as garbage collector. Called garbage collector. Okay. So now let us try to understand each and every point in detail. So in features of Java, the first feature they say simple. Okay. And then they are saying Java is simple. They say Java is very simple because if you look compare Java with C++, okay, so some of the features of C++ and some of the features of Java, they are little bit similar. Like if you look at the looping concepts where we have for loop, while loop, do while loop. So some of the looping concepts and some of the conditional statements, they are little bit similar. So that is the reason they are saying the first statement, Java is simple. Then the second reason they are saying, like, they have removed many confusing topics from Java, like pointers, operator overloading, etc. Okay, so let us try to understand what is meant by these pointers. Okay, so normally if you take a C++ program and whenever you try to run any particular C++ program, so the C++ program will be stored in somewhere in your hard disk. Okay, so as a developer, so whenever you are not using that particular program for a longer period of time, so you have to find out that particular address and you have to go and you have to delete that program from the operating system. So those kind of things will be done dealt by your pointers. So they remove these kind of topics from Java, and then they have introduced a new feature, something called as a garbage collector. So what is the main functionality of this garbage collector? So what this garbage collector will try to do, so at every regular interval of time or at some period of time, it is going to scan the entire heap memory. Okay, and if it finds if there is any unwanted object is existing in the heap memory, or if there are any nullified objects, or if there are any unreferenced objects are present in the heap memory, then it is going to scan the entire memory and it is going to delete those kind of objects from the memory. So that is the functionality of garbage collector. So what exactly it will try to do? It will try to scan the entire heap memory. After scanning the heap memory, if it finds any object which is not used for a longer period of time, or if there is any unreferenced object, then it will try to delete those kind of objects from the memory. So because of these three reasons, they say Java is simple. Then let's try to understand the second feature. Let's go back. So the second feature, they say platform independent. I'm sorry. So again, let's try to compare Java with C++, or we'll try to compare C++ with Java programming language. Suppose, let us assume I have three systems or I have three PCs. In first PC, I have tried to install Windows operating system, and in second PC, I tried to install Linux operating system, and in third PC, I tried to install Mac. Or let us assume like my third system is a Apple system. So Apple has its own operating system. We call it as a Mac operating system. Now, let's say I have written a C++ program in Windows operating system. Okay, and then I try to compile it, and then I have executed it. Now, when I try to execute in the Windows operating system, then the program was getting compiled and executed successfully. But if I try to copy and paste the same program into Linux operating system, now whatever the output that you are trying to get it in Windows operating system, the same output will not be visible under your Linux operating system. Now, if I try to copy the same program to my Apple system, okay, so whatever the output that you are able to see in Windows operating system, the same output will not be visible under your Apple system. So that is the reason we call C as a C or C++ as a platform dependent. Means you can write in one particular platform, I mean like one operating system, and you can execute that program in that particular operating system only. You cannot execute the same program in different operating system. Now let's compare with Java. Now I have taken Java as my programming language and I have written one Java program. Now, after writing the Java program, I tried to compile and I tried to execute the program in Windows operating system. Now, the program got compiled successfully and it got executed successfully. Now, I'll try to copy the same program and I'll try to paste it inside my Linux operating system. Now, when you try to execute the same program, so whatever the output that you are getting inside your Windows operating system, the same output will be visible under your Linux operating system. Now, again, let me copy that program from Linux operating system and let us try to keep it in Apple Macintosh operating system or your Mac OS. Okay, now whatever the output that you are able to see inside your Windows operating system and whatever the output that you are able to see inside your Linux operating system, the same output will be visible under your Mac operating system also. So this is the reason we call Java as platform independent. So whenever we say platform independent, so write once, execute any number of times. So this we call it as a platform independent. So let's put the second point, platform independent. So let me simply give the definition as write once, execute any number of times. So this we call it as a platform independent. Then the third advantage. Let's see what is the third advantage. So the third advantage, we call it as an object-oriented programming system. So we call it as a OOPS concept. Okay, so let me say OOPS, object-oriented programming system. So whenever we say object-oriented programming system, it is nothing but a methodology or it is nothing but a set of rules and regulations. And by applying these rules and regulations, we'll be able to make the development of the project or will make the maintenance of the project as easier. Getting my point there? So whenever we say object-oriented programming system, OOPS concept, it's nothing but a set of rules and regulations, and by applying those rules and regulations we are going to make the development or we are going to make the maintenance of the applications easier. So let me put the definition. Object oriented programming system is nothing but a methodology by applying the methodology we make the maintenance or development of the project easier. Okay, so under this whoops concept, we have certain kind of subtopics. So let us see what are those subtopics. So first one we call it as a class and object. Second one we call it as an inheritance. Third one we call it as a polymorphism. Fourth one we call it as an encapsulation. And the fifth one we call it as an abstraction. Okay guys, so whenever we say object oriented programming system, it is nothing but a methodology, or it is nothing but a set of rules and regulations, and by applying those rules and regulations we are going to make the development, or we are going to make the maintenance of the project easier. So under rules concept we have something like class and object, inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, and abstraction. So like inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, and abstraction we'll try to discuss in few other videos. So for today's session, so we'll try to discuss little bit about what is mean by a class and what is mean by an object. So before discussing about class, first let us try to understand what is mean by an object. I'm sorry guys. So first let us try to understand what is mean by an object. So whenever we say an object, so an object is nothing but an entity which physically exists in the world. So whenever we say object, so object is nothing but an entity which physically exists in the world, which we can see, which we can touch, which we can feel the presence of it. Anything can be called as an object. Getting my point, guys? So whenever we say object, so object is an entity that physically exists in the world, and every object contains certain kind of properties, and those properties we are going to call them as variables in Java. So let me say object contains properties, and those properties we call them as variables in Java. And every object performs certain kind of actions, and those actions we call them as methods in Java. Every object performs certain kind of actions, and these actions we call them as methods in Java. So for example, I was able to see you people, right? Then I can call you as an object. Now, when I call you people as an object, so what kind of properties you people have? Correct? So let me say, you people have a certain name, right? So that name is nothing but a property of you people. You people have a certain gender. So gender is a property. You people have certain color. So color is a property. You people have certain height. So height is a property. You people have certain weight. So weight is a property. So all these properties, we are going to call them as variables in Java. Now, if I consider you people as an object, now what actions you people can perform? Okay, you are feeling hungry, so you are going to take your food, or you are going to eat your food. So eating is an action, so that action is called as method in Java. Okay, you people are feeling sleepy, so when you go for a bed you are sleeping, so sleeping is an action. Okay, so that we call it as a method in Java. You people are talking to someone, so talking is an action. Okay, so all these are called as actions, and these actions we call them as methods in Java. So whenever we say object, so object is an entity that physically exists in the world, and every object will try to have certain kind of properties, and those properties are called as variables in Java. And then every object performs certain kind of actions, and those actions are called as methods in Java. So now let us try to understand what is mean by a class? So whenever we say class, sorry guys. So whenever we say class, so a class is nothing but a blueprint for creating an object. So whenever we say class, a class is nothing but a blueprint for creating an object, right? So we did not understand. So let us try to compare with one small example. Suppose, let me just open my paint. Let me say file. Let me say new. Let me say I don't want to say. Okay. Okay. So first suppose in your hometown somewhere you have a empty plot. Now inside that empty plot you want to construct one home, right? So what is the first step we'll try to do? So the first step what we'll try to do is like we'll try to approach near to a civil engineer, and then we'll say at a particular location I have an empty plot, and inside that empty plot I want to construct one beautiful home. Correct? Now what the civil engineer says, so he says give me some couple of days time and I'll come back to you. So after a couple of days he will try to come with a rough sketch, right? He will try to come with a rough sketch. He will say, so this is your empty plot. Inside this empty plot, so you can get a master bedroom over here. Then here you will get your kitchen. So this will be the dining area. Okay, this will be your common area. Something like this, he will try to show you certain kind of rough sketch, right? So this rough sketch is called as a blueprint. This rough sketch is called as a blueprint. By seeing this blueprint, you are going to construct your home. Correct, guys? By seeing this blueprint, you are trying to construct your home. So this blueprint, we are going to call it as a class. Now, if you see, this blueprint does not exist physically. Only the home exists physically. So this home is called as an object. So in order to create this object, we are making this blueprint. Correct? So whenever we say class, so a class is nothing but a blueprint for creating an object. So by seeing this blueprint, you are trying to create this home. Right, guys? So let me say this as a class, or let me say blueprint. This we'll call it as an object. Fine, guys. So whenever we say class, so a class is nothing but a blueprint for creating an object. And always remember, guys, object exists physically and a class will never exist physically. Okay. So now let's see what is the next feature. So the next feature, they call it as an secured. So again, we'll try to compare C++ with Java. So let me go to the next screen. So let's first compare, or let us try to understand C++. Now let us assume like inside my operating system, I have installed C++ programming software. Then I have written a program. Then when you try to compile and execute your C++ program, so all the C++ programs will be directly stored under your operating system. Getting my point, guys? So whenever you try to write any C++ program, and when you try to compile and execute your C++ programs, the C++ programs are directly going to be stored on your C++ programs are going to be executed directly under your operating system. Now, after some time, assume like your operating system got corrupted with virus. Getting my point? So after some period of time, your operating system got corrupted with virus. Now you cannot guarantee 100% whether your C++ programs will be executed or not. So this is one small drawback with your C++. Now let's come to your Java programming language. Now let us assume I have taken Java as my programming language, and then I have written a Java program. After writing a Java program, when I try to compile my Java program and when I try to execute my Java program, so Java is having its own runtime environment. So we call it as a JRE. So in case of Java, it has its own runtime environment, something called as a JRE. Okay. So whatever the programs that you are trying to compile and execute, all the programs will be getting executed under the JRE, Java Runtime Environment. Okay. Even if your OS is corrupted with virus, still we can guarantee 100% that the programs will be keep on executing how they are executing before. Getting my point, guys? So in case of Java, whenever you try to compile and run your Java programs, so all the Java programs will be running under a JRE, Java Runtime Environment. Even if your OS is corrupted with virus, but still we can guarantee 100% that the programs will be getting executed as it is how they were executing before. So this we call it as a, this is the reason we call Java is very secure. The fourth advantage, we call it as a secure. So before going to robust, so first let us try to understand what is mean by multi-threading. So after understanding multi-threading, then we'll come back to robust. So again, let's compare C++ with Java. Assume I have taken C++ as my programming language, and then, okay, so before that, okay, but I'm sorry. Okay, again, let's try to compare C++ with Java. Assume I have written 3 programs. So if you are able to see the diagram, so I'm trying to say process 1, process 2, and process 3. Okay, now all these programs are running under my operating system. Now if I want to execute all these 3 programs at one shot, then it is not possible. Then it is not possible with your C++ programming language. In C++ or C, maximum we can run only one program at a time. So we do not have any scope to run multiple programs at the same time. Now let's compare with Java. So in Java, we have a concept, something called as a threads concept. So whenever we say thread, so a thread is nothing but a separate path of execution. Okay. So by using threads, we can run multiple programs at the same time. So if I want to run process 1 program, process 2 program, and process 3 program at the same time, then in that scenario, I'm going to create 3 threads. And for first thread, I am trying to give the process 1 program. And for second thread, I am going to give the process 2 program. And for the third thread, I'm going to do the process 3 program. And when I say thread 1 dot start, thread 2 dot start, and thread 3 dot start, now all these 3 threads will try to execute all these 3 programs at the same time. So this we call it as a multi-threading. So let me put the fourth advantage. Okay. Sorry, the fourth advantage as multi-threading. Okay, so we can execute. So first we'll try to do a basic definition about thread. Thread is nothing but a separate path of execution. Okay, we can run multiple programs at the same time by making use of multi-threading. Okay, then the fifth advantage, we call it as a robust. So they give different definitions for robust. So they say Java is robust. Answer yes. Java is robust as it has the capability, to handle runtime errors, so they say Java is robust as it has the capability to handle runtime errors, and also it supports automatic garbage collection, automatic garbage collection, supports multi-threading, and we have one more important concept, something called as a exception handling. So because of all these features, they say Java is robust. Got it, guys? So many people, they say still few so many advantages, but all of them will be coming under this one only. So so whenever we say advantages of Java, so first one we call it as a simple, second one we call it as a platform independent, third one we call it as an object oriented programming system, then fourth one we call it as a secured, fifth one we call it as robust, and the sixth one we call it as a multi-threaded. Hope you understand the features of Java, guys. So for any upcoming new batches, if you want to know, whenever we are trying to start any new batches, so if you want to know any placement assistance for you people, if you want to know about the latest job updates, so you people can reach out on our Facebook page, javaonlinetraining.com. So where we'll be keep on posting about the latest jobs and the upcoming new batches which we are trying to frequently do. Or otherwise you can reach us to, sorry guys, otherwise you can reach us to our website joctopus.co.in, or you can follow us on Instagram. So our Instagram page is like instagram.com joctopus technology. Okay guys, bye bye, see you in next video.